research world. Many people get into this type of field or the curiosity of something that has triggered them to want to find the truth on the existence of Bigfoot. Everybody has something different, something that drives them to find this evidence. Some people do it skeptically, others are believers, others are knowers. They have seen something out there. They've seen some kind of creature walking the forests of North America. Today, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about somebody that this idea of the existence of Bigfoot has been passed down from one generation to another. Like I said before, we all have our motives, we all have our reason why we're here, why we're looking at this enigma of Bigfoot. But there is a human side to it. There is another side that I think that many people do not see. And what you're about to see is another view of someone. There's probably many people out there that the same thing has happened to them. But today I'm gonna show you that view of somebody that is a Bigfoot researcher and has taken over, if you want to put it this way, a legacy. If the mantle, or however you want to think of it is. But the reason why they're doing what they're doing now, this research of Bigfoot, is because someone in their family gave them or planted in them that seed and that desire to find the truth.
Everybody has a reason they get out of bed every day. And my father's reason was, of course, his family, but his true passion. It was so exciting for him. And even though he was sick and weak, he still went out there. It was his true passion. He tracked Bigfoot up until the last 2 months before he passed away.
Wow.
Right now, I have with me a very special guest, and you've heard about her. You heard about her before. Her name is Lorí Simmons. She was part of the event that occurred in Washington recently with a strange figure that appeared in a camp that has not been able to be explained yet, with extreme expeditions that Adam Davies was involved. Lorí was one of the people that actually experienced, that was out there when the supposed strange figure appeared in that one frame in a few seconds of video that they were to get. And I wanted to talk to her because prior I had a conversation with Adam, and there was other things that people didn't know that happened prior to that event, and I wanted also to get the opportunity to get her point of view about that. And Lorí, thank you for taking the time to talk to me. It's a pleasure to have you, today and speak. So Lorí, now that the events have unfolded and you experienced that, other things happen, but I also wanted to take the opportunity to get, your point of view of of what happened prior to that event. I think there's a story that hasn't been totally told. I got Adam's view and how he came over to America finally to look into the Bigfoot enigma, which he's never done before. People don't realize that this is the first time when Adam showed up. It was in October, correct?
September.
Oh, I'm sorry, September. That's right, September when the event happened, and that was the first time they actually came here to America to actually search for evidence of Bigfoot.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So to tell me, talk about a little bit. Let's talk about a little bit about the event. I mean, what was it initially that brought Adam to come search for you and be the person that he would use, not use, in other words, to communicate and for the first time come to America and search for Bigfoot?
Well, basically, Adam had heard about the book that I published in memory of my dad, Don Wallace, and the book is called Tracking Bigfoot, and it's based on my father's real-life experiences. And he was a true mountain man who lived in the North Cascade Mountains for 30 years. And due to his experiences in living in the North Cascade Mountains, he came across evidence of Bigfoot. And so he wrote a book that is his journal, and I published that book in memory of my dad, which I finished writing with adding my own personal experiences. And I was, I believe my father, but I was a skeptic. I lived in the city. I went out there with my father and went fishing. I grew up going in the woods with my dad since I was 6 years old, so I learned tracking experiences through my dad, but I still was a skeptic until I came across evidence myself and became a true believer. And that was after he passed away. So unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to tell him I do believe. But I believe in him and his experiences and his stories. And so it was based on the book that Adam found me and decided he wanted to go to America and look for Bigfoot, find out what this is all about. And so we planned it for 8 months.
So he got in contact with you, and then eventually he came to America based on reading your father's book and seeing there was something amazing going on with his story and also yours later on, since you took up the mantle of your father.
Yes, yes.
Now,
so my father, so you understand, he lived completely off the grid. He didn't have cable TV like everybody else or a computer. He lived in a private community that is in the deep forest of the North Cascade Mountains. So just so you know, the Cascade River was his backyard, and he would go fishing, and that's how he lived. So it wasn't like he was this guy who lived in the city who went tracking for Bigfoot as a hobby.
So tell me, Lorí. Now, we know that your father's book, and we know already, the things you've been doing. Naturally, there's been, you've gotten a little bit of flack on your theories and things that you say supposedly is happening out in the woods. Some people have stated that they went out there with you and they didn't really see what you were seeing. And what was the first thing? I know that you grew up around your father, but really, what was the moment that you believed that there was something there in what your father was doing?
It was the very first time my brother took me into one of the locations, and when we were walking along the old logging road.
How old were you?
Oh, this was just 6 months after my father passed away, so
Okay.
a few years ago.
A few years ago, okay.
Yeah.
So it's actually more recently now that you really thought there's something there with your father's
It was
research.
summer of 2010.
Okay.
And so my father passed away in April of 2010.
So, and what happened? What was it that changed your mind on being that skeptic that you were?
Well, because I went into this area I'd never been before, Old Logging Road, and my brother took me into this area that my brother had a map of 5 different hotspot locations where my father was tracking. And so he took me into one of the areas, and we found footprint tracks of, I couldn't imagine it being a human that could make those strides up the hill, be 4 to 5 feet apart and uphill and through the valley. And when I came across the first footprint, I just thought, oh my God. This feeling.
So you personally found some footprints out doing research. You found, have you cast them? Have you, do you have them, or have you maybe turned them into professionals to look them over, stuff like that?
Those were uphill, so my brother said that's probably why my father never could get a good cast.
Mm-hmm. But so you never they never tried to cast them or that?
No, we tried.
Okay.
We tried.
You tried, but they weren't that great cast.
A professional caster with us to help us.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how. We tried.
Yeah, so it was just difficult to get something good, quality foot cast. Right. But that's good though, because I think that's vital anyway. I think if you still cast them, because you might get something, that you never know. Yeah. Now, so for you, the quest for Bigfoot actually started in the summer of 2010 then?
Exactly.
Okay, so
I just wanted to see what it was all about and be closer to my dad since he wasn't around anymore. Mm-hmm. Since I was publishing his book, I wanted to know.
Mm-hmm. So now, through the years that you knew that your father was doing that, did he ever tell you any amazing story of encounters or things that you at first like, no, this is just too unbelievable to think that really happened? Could you tell me something about a story or something like that that you really thought it was just weird to think that it's real?
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I was talking to my dad on the phone and during his research, and he told me about how he went into the same area where Marge and her dogs were, and her dogs got so scared they ran. And apparently her dogs they're fearless. They'll chase after a bear, and they ran out of this area. So she went and got my dad, and she's thinking, there's Bigfoot in this area. So they went down and checked it out, and the story in the book is talking along. So my father did tell me that story over the phone, how he walked along the river, and he heard the sounds in the forest of a large creature bumping the ground, and very strong to be able to make those large bumping sounds in the ground. So he followed those sounds and tracked it to what was a tree, and it had like a peephole. And so he's telling me that it was jarring the ground. He could feel it vibrating, and he showed me photos later on, and I'm thinking, how could that be a Bigfoot? A den? Really? But it had to be large. Anyways, he said he could see something moving inside in this peephole looking out, and I'm thinking, Father, how do you know what that is? Either way, I was worried. I said, well, if it's a Bigfoot, it's a bear, I don't know, but I just worried because obviously you're telling me there's this large creature and you're spending time kneeled down next to it while it's throwing a fit, jarring the ground, and you're just hanging out. I was afraid.
So you were worried for your father that something might happen, and you're not really worried about Bigfoot or being a bear, but you just worried for his safety.
Yeah. So my dad was so excited telling me on the phone, and I'm just worried.
Do you have a great relationship with your father?
Yeah, a great relationship.
So you were real close to him. So you never had any doubt. You know, you believed him. Did you believe him, or at first you were just the skeptic said no?
I didn't know if it was a Bigfoot. You know, I didn't know, but I just believed my father that there's a creature, there's an animal of some sort that was strong with the strength to jar the ground, and he's putting his life on the line by spending time next to it, and yet battling cancer, and I was going through helping to take care of him with chemotherapy, and he loved the woods.
So even with his illness, he still wanted to go out there and still look for Bigfoot.
That was his passion. That I just thought everybody has a reason they get out of bed every day. And my father's reason was, of course, his family, but his true passion. It was so exciting for him. And even though he was sick and weak, he still went out there. It was his true passion. He tracked Bigfoot up until the last 2 months before he passed away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did he say anything to you in terms of, I mean, what was the last conversation you had with your father? Was there anything about Bigfoot? Was it just, regular conversation?
That's emotional. Yeah. Actually, the last day that I saw my dad, he was in the hospital at the VA hospital in Seattle, and that was the day he couldn't talk anymore. And the doctors, his team of doctors came in, and they told me that my father could hear me, and they told me that he was very concerned about his book being published because he was slipping away, and he knew he wasn't going to be able to finish writing the book and have it published, even though my father and I, we were working together to finish the book because his strength grew weaker. But his team of doctors stressed his concern to me that he wanted to make sure that the world knew the truth and that Bigfoot does exist. And so my father was laying in the hospital bed, and I said out loud so my father could hear me. I said, well, I read the first page and I read the last page, and I think the book is ready, and I'm going to make sure that your book gets published.
That's awesome.
That was the last conversation about it. So he passed away knowing that I was going to fulfill this promise, and that's why it's a promise. Because it was the last time I told my father. I did promise him I would publish his book.
Nobody up here but me. Beautiful sunny day. Can't complain about that. Took a few pictures.
So your idea of what you're doing now, is it just more just trying to prove that Bigfoot is real? Is it so you can ensure that your father's legacy continues on as contributing something important to it? I mean, the book does talk about a lot of experiences and things that happened and ideas of what he thought was going on with Bigfoot. Now, from it, are you also putting some of those things into your research to make it better, or is it certain things new, or you're doing it your own way, your own style of looking for the evidence of Bigfoot?
Well, I'm learning every day, and basically, I'm continuing on the legacy. I am fulfilling my father's promise, but even more so is my father he had found a clump of hair, and he wasn't able to have it tested, and so I've taken that promise a step further by having it tested. It's right now in the lab being analyzed by Brian Skype, the human, the
geneticist, Brian Sykes.
Yeah.
The geneticist, okay.
Yeah, of the Oxford University. Yeah.
Yeah, Adam. Yeah, we had me and Adam had a conversation about that.
Yeah.
So I thought that was very interesting. So
Adam helped me with that exactly.
So you're hoping that from there could be a confirmation. I mean, what would that mean to you that let's say that the psych study brings to light that your father's hair is of an undiscovered species of hominid? You know, would that mean a big deal to you that it confirms? Will it confirm a lot of things that you thought the skeptic side of you didn't want to believe?
Well, I already believe. I already know, and they let me know when I go into the area and they're around. But what that will do is, I guess it would just be fulfilling my father's promise even more, because he wasn't able to have this done. So it's really just me accomplishing this for my dad, because he's not here able to do it, and to have the scientific evidence to share with everybody.
Now, let's go back. Let's talk about September. Let's talk about when Adam arrives, and you guys go out there. Tell me what happened. Tell me the experiences, because Adam left a person that the world renowned adventure tracker. Davies leaves America. Wanting to come back, wanting to continue looking for Bigfoot in America. He plans to come back. That's what I got from my conversation with him. And so tell us what were the things that he experienced, that you think convinced him that something was truly out there.
Well, like, I can't stop the research either, because I go into this area. And like my father, the story I told you, where the creature led him to where the creature is at that moment, I share that same experience. And I don't know why, but I have this amazing gift that they let me know where they are in the forest. And so that's why I guess it seems a little unbelievable to some people, because they haven't had that experience. But I go into the forest, and I have, I guess you could say, built a relationship with the creatures. They let me know where they are, and I've shared that experience with the team, and I've taken Adam to the certain area and made them a believer.
So what happened? I mean, what the experience? What was it that God can wow, what's going on here? Can you talk about it, or it's just?
Okay. So summer of 2010, it goes back there. Another location I went. I heard the bumping sound, the same as my dad, and the tree knocking, and it just sounded like the forest was a jungle. Only it was the national, I was just in the national forest in the Cascade Mountains. I wasn't in the jungle, but it sounded that way. And so I just had to stop being afraid and continue to walk through the forest. And I found myself on top of this area that I heard a growl below me. And so my brother motioned for me to put my ear up to the tree. And so I heard the growl below me, and the bumping sound, the ground was rumbling below my feet, and that told me it had to have been a large creature that has the strength to do that. And so I have continued to bring apples and gifting, just as my father did. My father walked into the forest and brought apples. And so then someone told me, well, why don't you start talking to it, you know, just see. And so it's pretty amazing. It's as if it has a conversation with me. I guess you'd say. But when I went into the forest after the team had left, it had been a month since I went up there. And when I went in the forest, I could hear the sound of the deep bumping sounds in the ground of a large creature throwing a fit. And I didn't know if maybe it was excited to see me. I didn't know, because still it's wild and still just a girl. So that was my experience when I walked down to the river and I heard it walking along the river, walking through the forest towards the river with me, and I could hear it walking, and I stopped and it stopped, and I took 2 steps, and it was it was pretty amazing. I just had to say, well, I'm going down to the river, you can walk down with us if you like. And so I went down to the river, and I was leaving, I heard the large, deep bumping sounds in the ground. Just sounded like a large animal throwing a fit. He was hitting the ground as loud and as hard as he possibly could. It frightened me because I didn't know if he was excited or angry, and my legs were trembling, my heart was racing. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. My heart was racing, and I couldn't stop and talk, and I just had to say, well, I'm going hiking, it's just over here a ways. It sounds strange, but I've built a relationship, and sometimes it is frightening for me.
So even though you love thing, accept, you still have fear that something that is not exactly nice like people think it is.
Yeah, I don't know, because I didn't know if maybe, because your natural instinct tells you, okay, he's making a big ruckus, and I don't know. Because
so did that happen with Adam? Did that happen with Adam and the other guys from the region came over there? Did they experience like strange sounds like that out there? Well, you guys were there for 10 days, you said?
They've all experienced it. Yeah.
So they had, because Adam told me that was one of the biggest, the big thing that also they found strange said, mentioned that when we talked about that there was just something strange going on when you showed up, when you were out there, they react to your talking to your stuff. And I
imitated my voice, and it was still quiet. And what I have learned is if someone goes into the area with me and they're an alpha male, quiet. You can't be alpha male with a large creature. He's not going to let you know he's there. So what I do is, with everybody who is in the group, is I had to talk that person up and just let them know that this person's okay. This is my friend. And so on the video, with my friend Bonnie, I would say this is my very best friend.
So you're talking about that 19 so many video. Is that the one you're talking about? That at 1924 there is something that does sound like a growl. I do agree. I do agree with you. I reviewed the video several times.
Yeah.
And at that moment, there is something that sounds like an animal growling.
Thinking there's a Bigfoot that lives in the ground. Or I am, actually.
Audio is off, hold on.
Okay. My dad was very old school, and this is his tape recorder that he would bring into the woods. And this is one of his tapes. It says movement in the den, first sign that it can be aggressive. I'm sorry, Bond.
No, that's okay. Like I said,
and these are 2 photos that are of dens in this area. My brother and I still, to this day, even after 2 years, cannot find them. And here's another one. So you see there's a large tree.
More knocking.
Oh, he's knocking.
Lots of knocking.
And there's this area right here that has an opening.
Yeah.
Okay. My dad found this den from going in the area where Marge's dogs wouldn't. They got scared out of the woods. Rocks were thrown. He went in that area where the dogs wouldn't, followed along the riverside, followed the deep bumps of whatever it may be in the woods, and this is what he came across. So there's this one, and there's this one, and the tree that I've come across is because clearly the sound.
Yes.
He's telling me where he is right now.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
There's
but
definite.
He's telling me. And it's possible because I've come down here from when I was a little girl. I was 6. When I first started coming down here and going fishing with my dad. So.
Well, all I know is there is knocking from that tree, and I'm not walking up there, and I would. Holy crap.
Holy shit. Okay, he's really pissed off right now.
Okay, we're going to go.
Okay.
There was a big growl. And
yeah, it was loud. Okay.
I'll see you.
Okay, well, I don't think I'm going to be playing the audio of my dad right now.
Okay, well, I'm going to shut this off for a minute.
Go. I'm sorry, Bonnie. I put you through this scary experience.
Here. You want to turn that off?
No, I'm going to keep it going.
Okay.
Okay, get in the car, Bonnie.
Right.
You say
Low, deep, rumble.
Now, some people have said that what you're hearing is wind, or others, or others are saying that you had a recorder with you, that you had a recorder with you, father's recording, and you just played the recorder to make it seem like that was a growl. So you know what I mean? What do you say to that? What?
Like, why would I waste my time? And I would never do anything to tarnish my father's reputation. Like, why would I make anything up? I have no reason to. I'm the flower lady. A couple years ago, I was with this Bigfoot tracker. So are you familiar with tracks? Or you haven't, you know what a bear track is and what certain animal tracks are out there? Yeah. Okay. Because I have gone into the forest with my father since I was 6 years old. So this area where we went was actually one of the fishing holes I used to go with my dad. Okay. So you understand the animals and things are out there. You just don't just because you went back out now doesn't mean that you don't understand or experience. Amazing teacher, my father, who lived in the North Cascade Mountains for 30 years. I had my father who taught me when we walked into the forest to go fishing. He would point out animal tracks to me, and he would point out evidence that a bear was here and whatnot. He taught me.
So that's what I'm saying. You know the sounds in the woods. So what you heard is not something that you've heard before when it came to that growl.
That's why my father believed that it was a Sasquatch, because there's no other sound in the forest that has made these sounds. No other animal would behave this way, and that's why he believed.
Now,
and he believed that it must have a den of some sort underground, and that was simply a lookout area where it could see someone coming by.
You believe that that Bigfoot, it's human?
The Bigfoot is human?
Mm-hmm. Do you think that Bigfoot is human? Based on what you experienced out there, do you think Bigfoot is human?
It's possible. It's definitely highly intelligent.
Mm-hmm. But my question is, do you think it's human? I mean, because we have you say you heard a growl.
Right.
Humans typically don't growl. Humans typically don't try to act dominant, and in a lot of people that that are researching the phenomenon, even myself, for me, this is just my opinion. I believe that certain characteristics of what people explain Bigfoot is very primate-like.
Right.
There's a lot of things that have led me to believe that. Yeah.
From what I've experienced primate behavior, but yet, like, a bear would not interact with me like this. A bear wouldn't care. A bear is actually more afraid of you. The black bears that I've seen, they run. They're scared of you. A black bear is not going to take the time to interact with me like this creature does. And so, I believe it is highly intelligent, and it does have primate behavior.
But it still has that primal, animalistic behavior that it could make it dangerous.
Right.
Let's talk about the trailcam photo.
Okay.
That caused a lot of debate, a lot of issues here. People were saying that it was hoax, that it was a person, that it was smoke, and all kinds of stuff.
Right.
What you saw there, I mean, do you think that possibly that is what we call a Bigfoot?
I believe so. I believe that the creature that I have built a relationship with in the area, I know it's more than one, because I have been in the forest several times, and I've heard sounds in other directions letting me know there's more than one. And I believe that on the second night that we stayed the night there, I decided we should sleep outside, because I didn't want to sleep inside the tent not knowing what's walking around outside. Am I psyching myself up and it's really just a raccoon and I'm scared? So Adam slept outside with me by the campfire, and I believe that it came in to take a close look at me, and it did. It took a close look at me.
Did that freak you out when you saw that?
Knowing that?
I mean, seeing the photo and then knowing that you were out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't look at the photo for more than a moment, because I could see the clear details of the massive muscles in the back, and just knowing that.
So you believe that the figure showing some characteristics, and a lot of people disagree with it. I did an analysis of it myself, and I saw certain things that were to me, it seemed like primate-like to me. I mean, that's my opinion, naturally. And you're saying the same thing. Adam also talked about that, and he believed that it possibly has certain characteristics that look kind of primate, and he thinks that Bigfoot is more primate-like than really human. I mean, he doesn't really think that yet, and actually could be whatever one. I mean, for different people, Bigfoot is different things. For the people that believe it could mind speak, they say they're in communication with it, that they know its history, that Bigfoot talks to them, and it's to some people he's a teacher, and all kinds of stuff. I mean, what do you think about that, though? I mean, do you feel, that's the kind of connection that you get? I mean, have you heard things said to you from Bigfoot that you thought that he was speaking to you? I mean, the reason I ask this is because,
Right.
people can believe a lot of things, but when you experience something, I think the problem is in the community, the people are not sharing. Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I'm not connected in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I did try to, because he bumps the ground when he's close by. I tried the, bump once for yes and twice for no, just to see, because he's not talking.
Oh, to see if you were smart. So you try to do
Right.
that type of communication. Okay.
Right, so I just wanted to see. Not communicating with me, sending telepathic pictures or anything in my mind. I'm there in the now and trying to communicate, and I thought, let me just try this out and see. And I brought my friend Bonnie with me, and she said, ask him if he minds me being here. And I said, bump once for yes and twice for no. And nothing. And she's like, see, he's a skeptic. And then he bumped 3 times. So I was, I don't know. And so that was a test I did. I'm just still learning how to communicate, but I have to continue with my research because I'm still trying to build the trust, and I'm in hopes that instead of walking with me to the river, that he will walk with me along the trail to the river, and not
next to you.
Because because even though it obviously is a very large and strong creature that can make those sounds, rumbling sounds, because I don't know any human that could possibly.
But as of yet, you have not been able to see.
Yeah, he has not come out and has stood there for me to look at him.
So you don't really know what it looks like as of yet. What you're experiencing?
Not in that area.
Okay.
No, I have actually seen something which could possibly be, but not that particular one and in that area. But that's
so you did experience seeing something. I mean, what did it look like? Did you get to see what it was?
Well, I have a campsite in a family park area with swimming pools and whatnot. And this one time I went up there for the weekend just by myself. Everybody leaves on a Sunday to start work, and I thought, I'll just leave on Monday morning and go to work and drive into Seattle. And I looked outside the trailer window just to take a peek and be aware of my surroundings. So even though you're in the forest, you're in the city, you always need to be aware of your surroundings. So I opened up the trailer door and I looked from my right, straight ahead, and to the left. Just took a clear shot of what my surroundings were, and I saw something tall and large that was, to me, I'm thinking a dark shadow. I didn't have my coffee yet, but I just saw a dark shadow in the trees, and it moved to the right. That had it not moved to the right, I probably wouldn't have noticed it was even there.
So that movement was what got you to notice that it was there.
Yeah, I noticed it.
But you really couldn't tell what it was. You saw a dark figure.
Right. So that's what I'm saying.
Did you walk to the spot to see?
Huh?
Yeah. Did you walk to the spot to see if you could tell how tall it was?
I did. So.
And how tall do you think it was, based on what?
Because I closed the door and I pretended like I didn't see anything. I'm just thinking there's a guy in the trees and he's watching me.
So you got scared a little bit.
Woman in the movies who runs off screaming. I pretended like I didn't see anything. I'm oblivious. I got in my car and I left, and when I came back later, I looked to see from the deck where I was standing and walked over to the height of how tall I saw it was, and it was taller than any human.
How tall do you think it was?
Oh, I think he was about, or it was about 10 feet tall.
Wow, that's
10 feet tall.
That's huge.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
So
So I
there-
was thinking about it was either at like this level or at that level, but the average man's height's this level, and my neighbor had his light set up where it was auto, because I went over there, and he wasn't even there. So little did I know that I was at the cul-de-sac area by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I did look around for tracks.
So you look around for tracks? But you didn't find anything? Was the ground too soft, too hard?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you couldn't find anything. So that's interesting. So now.
And see, for me, I would go up to the North Cascade Mountains and track. And that was my safe area where I take my children to go camping. And so I didn't want that to be the area where I think the Bigfoot could be. So that was frightening.
So that kind of scared you.
Yeah, it did.
Well, you got to keep in mind though that the stories do say that Bigfoot likes to hang out where kids are at and likes to watch us. So it's interesting that you tell me that story. I've read stories, some stories from your father's book and things like that. But to hear one from you, I find that interesting. They had an experience like that, and it tells me that you're just not talking, now as a person that just want to follow your father's legacy, but you had your own experience to make you even want to also look for this more, because it's easy to follow someone else's research, but then when you have your own experiences, it kind of puts it all in a different perspective once you experience something. Now that you're here at this juncture in your life, and I mean you have experienced other things. The growl. Your friend was with you. I saw the video, which I thought was which I thought was very interesting. And she was talking about it. She could hear the knocks in the place. Unfortunately, the video doesn't pick it up. And in many videos, people hear things that typically the little cameras and phones, they kind of are based on. They kind of pick up the things that are closer in terms of sound. They're not made for that. Have you learned from that? And I think I seen you have better equipment. Are you equipping yourself better now when you go out into the woods? Because I think I saw you with a parabolic microphone. Is that correct? Did I saw you in one video with a parabolic microphone or a picture or something?
I do.
Yeah.
I have one.
Oh, so you do have one. So
I do have one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
And unfortunately, when the growl that you heard on that video, it wasn't plugged in, so it really was louder.
I mean, I can hear something. I do not disagree with you. I'm fascinated by that video.
I can't tell it was as loud as it was. I think if it was plugged in, you could tell, because it sounded like it was right behind me.
Now that you put your time into this, and I saw that, I was interested by that, because I said, well, here's this young woman, who had a father that totally believed that this was out there, that Bigfoot was real. She comes into the scene. She starts searching for this, and in a way, for me, seeing things, I didn't really know a lot about you, and then seeing all these things and talking to you now, I'm starting to see that you are trying, you're trying to learn, and you're trying to be a better researcher, and I appreciate that, because people
to learn more about them, and I'm trying to build the trust, because if what is there, we can learn more.
Do you think that people are being unfair with you? People. I know that people have criticized you, saying the things that you said, that you've seen, and people that come out there. Do you think that people have been unfair? Really, have not really given you a chance to show what you're capable of and what you learn?
Some people, because it is hard to understand. I mean, really. I have a relationship. I've built this trust with a creature that lives in the forest with its family, and people have said, well, what makes Lorí so special? What makes her so special that they tell her that they're there, even bump on the ground when they're in this underground den? Well, I don't know, but they do. And because I have that gift, I'm willing to share it.
Do you think that people think that you're a little bit arrogant then? They think that you're arrogant with because you're saying that they think you're special. I mean, you think that people are getting the wrong idea of who you are?
I hope people don't think I'm arrogant, because I'm not. I'm really a gentle, sweet person.
No, but I'm saying, because you said that people have said that why are you special? I mean, now, do you think you have a right to look for Bigfoot? Because, I mean, you have a legacy from your father. So do you think that is your right to look for Bigfoot because your father left you something in you? Because I want to understand that. It's just more than this is about Lorí Simmons and my father was this guy that was the search for Bigfoot. That has some great stories, wrote a book, and people really respect.
No, it's not about that. I feel like I have a right. It's about that for some reason they have decided to let me know that they're there, and I'm going to continue that. I'm going to continue to build the trust in the relationship, and I'm going to continue to share that.
Now, do you think it's because your father opened that door for you? Is that it? Is that it? Maybe they realized that you're related to the man that came out there?
I think maybe they know me from back when I was a little girl.
That they were looking at you, you didn't know they were out there?
Right. And I believe that they are highly intelligent. And this particular one that I have established a trust with, I've noticed that he or she can be short-tempered, and yet I can calm him down and easily through listening to my voice and communicating. So I believe that he is highly intelligent, and I know that he knew my father, and I know that he's very upset that he's not there. And it does sound strange, but if you were there, you would understand that they are highly intelligent. And when I talked about with a friend who was there with me about my father, his legacy, that he lost his battle to cancer, he threw a fit, and my legs were trembling. I felt so scared. So that's just one of my experiences I could share with you. It's truly amazing, and it's not that I feel like I have a right. It's just that I can't stop.
Yes. So you have the Bigfoot bug now.
It's a remarkable experience that for some reason they trust me. I have this nature about me. Maybe they do know I'm Don's daughter, and maybe they miss him, and I'm there. And he spent 28 years with them, sharing their land, and I'm there. Sometimes I go visit, and they're excited I'm there.
So now that you're here at this point in your life, and actually Bigfoot has become part of who you are, and even more now. I mean, I know that you were with your father, you had a good relation, but now it seems to have come full circle. Now you're diving into it. Is it also are you also gonna leave this legacy to your children? Now, knowing that we're so close now, that possibly if all the things are going on, just like you send the hair sample, now it's going to sites, and they're doing the study, and Melba Ketchum study. with a DNA study, and it could possibly maybe prove that Bigfoot is real. Are you also going to leave that with your children also, so they can be also part of this experiences that you've had? How has it changed you? How has it changed you?
Well, I did take my son there. My son, Chris, and his girlfriend, Kristen, helped with driving the team up there and picked us up. And I thought, well, the day that they picked us up, I just wanted to know, is it going to react to my son? I wanted to know. So it did. And when he growled, I'm a mom. That's my son. And Kristen, I see her as a daughter. And I felt protective, and I just wanted to go. And I didn't want my kids to be around a creature that is still a creature. So I felt very protective, and so.
So you think they might be dangerous? You think they might be dangerous?
I don't know. See, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. But so you're hesitant. You're hesitant because to you it's a creature, because I heard that you said that before, it's a creature, so you feel that it's not exactly human. It's something else is there going on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when I am there, I try to pretend like I'm not afraid, and I'm free spirit in the woods, and this is who I am, and I'm trying to build the trust, but yet I don't know.
Now, what would you say to you?
I would not be okay with my daughter going up there. No, and I understand why my father didn't want me going up there. I understand that. But yet, my niece, Sierra, she has experienced it summer of 2010, and I'm thinking she is probably going to follow in my footsteps.
Now,
Auntie, when are you going to take me to Bigfoot country?
So she's been asking you, huh?
Yeah, and she saw the photo. And I said, are you kidding? She's 8.
Wow. Now,
I'm kidding. She's going to.
Now, what would you say to your critics, Lorí? I mean, I know you've been criticized, and I know you know that you've been criticized for your stuff. I mean, what do you say to them? What you have the opportunity now to tell them something. What would you say to your critics?
But, well, I was also a skeptic.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't truly believe in Bigfoot until I had my own personal experience, and it's perfectly okay. Not everybody is a believer, and not everybody has to be a believer, and that's perfectly okay. I'm just going to continue to build the trust and the relationship with them, and I'm happy to share it.
Mm-hmm. So really, the critics don't really bother you.
No, because I can't allow that to stop me from building the trust with them. Because I understand it is difficult to truly experience. If I don't have all the professional equipment, if I had all the professional audio and video equipment, and if I could place the audience there as if they were sitting in the movie theater, that would be amazing if I could share that. But I don't have that equipment, and so it's everybody is entitled to their own opinion, but that's not going to stop me because I know it's real.
So what's next, Lorí? What is next for you? You had this experience in September. A small video, naturally with a lot of debate, with a lot of accusations. What is your future? What's next? What do you want to do with all this? Whether Bigfoot is found to be proven real or not, you know, what is it that you want to do?
I'm going to continue to learn.
So you think you're better now a researcher than you were in 2010?
Absolutely. I'm learning more from them and building and establishing a trust with them.
Now, now that you have people like amazingly Adam Davies, a world-renowned, recognized researcher, tracker. This guy's explored and looked at cryptids for 15 years, and you had the opportunity to be with somebody at that level. It's well respected in terms of what he does. Has it put this at another level for you now? You were able to rub elbows basically with somebody of that level of recognition.
It was nice to have someone and the team be there with me for me to share this amazing, truly remarkable experience. It was amazing. To share it and to have his opinion.
Yeah, because naturally Adam did tell me, he was very skeptical of the whole Bigfoot thing. He even mentioned, all these years that researchers have looked for Bigfoot, in America, they really haven't really proven the existence of Bigfoot, and he had some doubts, about that, and now his experience, his life has changed a little bit because now he wants to come back to America to do more research. I even told him, hey, if he ever comes back, he can come down to Florida and we can go look for the skunk ape, where that's where I'm at. So we'll see, Damien. I'll come out there, but what about you? Have you ever thought about going to other places and looking for Bigfoot? Have people invited you to come look and
and
do
stuff?
stuff?
Other people's hot spots with them.
Yeah. Now.
I had amazing experiences there. Also, I wanted to know: do I have this connection with them in other areas and not just my own? And I discovered that I do.
Maybe your father left something on you, a scent or something that Bigfoot likes.
No.
If we're being out there in the woods, it's interesting to hear that. Now,
I can go into someone's hot spot and I'll hear this loud tree knot just crack in the distance. And then to the left, I hear the deep bump bump sound. It's just amazing.
Now, a lot of people that they are into Bigfoot, a lot of people are using the word habituation as a word that they say that is part of their research, and a lot of people have a problem with that because most of these people are saying that are not true scientists that understand what habituation is, and I even have a problem with that. When I hear somebody tell me I'm habituating Bigfoot, it kind of sends red flags up for me in terms of are these people really trying to blow smoke or making this fantastical story, and I believe in Bigfoot. I think it's real, but I just have a hard time with that.
You have to have your own experience. Everybody has their own experience, and I believe that those experiences are all different.
Yeah, but what do you think about habituation, though? We have famous researchers, Goodall, which is one of my, I have her on a pedestal. Everything that the Goodall has done, has been documented, has been shown, proven, evidence of her habituation, with chimps and the primates, and that's what I'm saying. My view of it, and that's what I'm asking you is, these people are making these claims that they're habituating Bigfoot, and yet they never show any proof of what they're doing. And the typical excuse is, well, I even have people tell me Bigfoot doesn't like to be filmed.
Right.
And
hopefully through my research, I can continue to, through documentation, share with you, and through the hair, DNA, and the growls and the photos.
So you're interested in that. You're interested in showing your proof. You're not one of those persons that just wants to, oh, I got Bigfoot on film, I'm gonna hide it.
No, it is about the scientific. It is.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. I think
there's unicorns. Oh, I saw one.
Well, there's a report from China, from Korea. There's unicorns now. So.
Right.
Yeah, the Koreans reported, but some people think it's more of a publicity to get tourism. But we never know the purpose of things. But and the reason I asked you that because I just wanted people to see your opinion on this, because I think when I started this journey, I call it a journey. I've met a lot of people. I've heard a lot of stories. There's stories that I find fascinating. There's things that I think are amazing. To me, that sound from people that I believe are credible. And when what happened with Adam Davies, the people from Extreme Expedition. I mean, there was professional people. There were people. There were scientists there. There were people with you. There were scientists, and they came out of there, thinking that something's going on, and
every day.
Yeah, and
it was during the day, and it was in the evening.
Wow. So when
overwhelming, there was so much activity. Yeah.
So when I decided to do this, I wanted to show your reality of it, because I think in a way, just like me, this journey has to lead to something. It has to give you some type of satisfaction.
Right.
And I wanted to see what was it, not only that brought Adam Davies to America, but what was it about Lorí Simmons that was causing these debates and this criticism that I didn't understand myself. I really never looked into your research. So.
I'm hoping that this journey of mine, that they will come out and I will be able to learn and document their relationship with me as well as each other. Because even though they are strong and large creatures, they are still shy. And so I'm hoping that through building a trust and relationship that they will come out of hiding.
Eventually.
Research, truly document their behavior.
So you want to concentrate, you want to see how they live out in the woods. You want to document that.
I want to learn more. Yeah.
All right.
They're documented.
Now, for people that in the community of Bigfoot, we have people that are believers. We have people that are knowers. Typically, the knowers are the ones that have seen something. That's what we call the knowers. And then you have the skeptics, and you got the skeptical believers, So you have all these.
I'm skeptic.
For a long time.
Yes.
Yeah. Now.
Yeah, I felt very embarrassed by my father coming in to the city, and he lived out there in the North Cascade Mountains, and he started telling his Bigfoot stories to my girlfriends when I was a teenager. I was so embarrassed. I was a skeptic.
Now, what do you say? What do you say to those people? What do you say? Now that your experiences, what do you say to everybody? That whether they're a believer, skeptic, or knower, or skeptical believer, what do you say to them?
That sometimes it does take a personal experience to become a true believer, and I understand that. I was that person.
So your life has totally changed, Lorí. You're no longer that
I'm no longer
that person that, you know, your father, and it's interesting to hear that, because, you know, your father that had what, 28, what was it, how many years searching?
28 years.
Yeah, 28 years. So about the same time I've been trying to figure out the enigma of Bigfoot. Yeah, I mean, and for you to only now become this true believer, you know, it's interesting. It's an interesting story. Lorí, we've been talking for an hour already. It's gone pretty fast, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, it has.
And I thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me and giving me the time to tell your part of the story of that event. I think that event has not, to me, it would not have been complete, and I thought it didn't get a fair chance to be actually seen at something, and that's why I wanted to pursue this and do this mini documentary about it and add you to it.
It's my father's research. It's his years of dedication up until 2 months before he passed away. It's his research that I'm continuing. And thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to share his story of mine.
Oh, my pleasure. Lorí, I want to thank you again. Thanks for taking the time, and I'll talk to you soon again. And it was a pleasure talking to you. And you take care of yourself, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
You too.
All right. Let me turn this off.
But I'm doing good. I'm having a good day, enjoying it. And I'm going to head out of here.
Brought to you by the Bigfoot Evidence blog. Team Taser approved!